Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Empire Secrets. I'm your host, Mariana Henninger. I just got off teaching a really awesome group of copywriters at my friend Marissa Twentyman's group. She has a over the shoulder a copywriting course. Marissa is the founder of Dirty Copy, and she is one of the most brilliant copywriters on the internet. I love her so much. I have talked about her in my newsletter if you've been with me for a while. Otherwise, I highly recommend you check her out on Instagram. But anyway, I hope you have had and are having an amazing week. I want to chat with you today. Dirty.copy. There we go. Dirty.copy is where you can find Marissa. Today, I want to talk about something that I have sort of coined very recently. It all started at the beginning of my journey when I was on somebody's podcast and we were talking about brand videos. And she asked me a question that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. I'd never been asked this before. And it's so weird to think that way back then, I didn't have this concept that I've now sort of coined as the trust triggers. And the question that she asked me, well, okay, Mariana, this sounds amazing. I love brand videos. Like, this is all so cool. She asked me, like, very simple question. Is there anything that's in common about every single brand video? And I was like, oh my gosh. And it really kind of dates me back to my beginning days when I was still, in a way, kind of building the framework and trust, or like testing it and stress testing it. And I was like, no, I don't think so, because every story is different. And, aside from the framework, that's obviously similar in every brand video if you have an overcome story or if you have a passion story. But that's about it. No. And then towards the end of that episode, it came to me and I was like, okay, I actually want to say something that is true in every brand video, and that is that people should feel like you care about them. And that was the very beginning of what I've now come to coin as the 4 trust triggers. And they are really 4 things that your audience needs to feel in order to trust you. And if these 4 things aren't in place, then they now trust you. And now there are 3 types of buyers. There is the buyer that buys something from you because you've really hit a pain point with them and they just need the thing that you sell. And typically it's something that they maybe buy over an ad, or it's a low ticket thing for the most part. So if you don't know them and it's low ticket and they were like really persuasive, then there you go. You probably bought from them. The second type of buyer is the buyer that knows you. And for those buyers, if you have really good copy and if your funnels are really dialed in, you can possibly sell them, right? So the first type of buyer, they don't know you, but you hit all the triggers and the price is really low and okay, they're not going to think too much. They're going to buy from you. The second type of buyer, they know you, and yet you have to be pretty persuasive in order to get them to buy from you. And then boom, they become a buyer. And the third type of buyer is the buyer that already trusts you. And this is why the 4 trust triggers are so important, because once somebody already trusts you, they will buy anything. You do not have to persuade them because they are already sold on you even before you sell them on your offer. So I want to talk to you today about the 4 trust triggers. These are the 4 things that if you can get your audience to feel these 4 things, you can get them to trust you. And once you've gotten them to trust you, everything is so much easier, my friends. Everything is so much easier when people trust you, because you don't have to be as persuasive. So this is the real answer to what is the common thing about every single brand video. Well, every single brand video will activate these 4 trust triggers. So let's dive right in. The first trust trigger is that people need to feel that you get them. This comes from knowing your audience so deeply, better than they know themselves. So not just knowing the things that they tell you, but knowing deep down what motivates them and what gets them to take action and why they do the things they do. And so a lot of the people that I speak with that are coaches and course creators, they've built their business because they want time freedom. They don't want to sell their time for money. They don't want to have to respond to anybody else. They want to be able to choose what they do and when they do it. And they want to be able to spend time away from work with their family or traveling, or, most of the time they just want to spend time doing the things they want to do. And so that is the biggest motivator for why they do what they do. And yes, they do want to have an impact and all of that, but knowing my audience deeply and knowing like very specifically what gets them ticking and what feelings they have and where their challenges are, where their pain points are, is what I need to communicate in my brand video so that they trust me. So they need to first and foremost feel that one, I get them deeply. I really have been where they are, or I really understand what it's like to be where they are. The second trust trigger is that my audience needs to feel that I care for them. So this is the answer that I gave this gal on her podcast. When I can show you that I care more about you than just looking at you as what I call my personal ATM machine. This is something that I've used in emails, and I kind of talk about it every once in a while, where I feel like there's this trait with content online where people love to share screenshots of their Stripe bank accounts. And a lot of times it's literally to sell you on the thing that got them that number, the Stripe screenshot. And I can't help but feel really weird when I see that, because I'm like, okay, so you are literally bragging that you have made this much money and you want me to contribute to that money and literally feel like a number on your screenshot from Stripe. I don't want that. I want somebody who cares so much about me and who is really invested in my success and in my doing the best work that I could possibly do and get the best results that I could possibly get. That is who I want. I want somebody who will go out of their way, somebody who has the support in place. So maybe I'm not getting one-on-one with this person, maybe not, but I am getting the support that I need. I am getting my questions answered, however it is that this person has created the space for that. So that's the second trust trigger. If I can feel that you care for me, that you actually truly care for me and you care about me, that is yet another step towards trust. The third trust trigger is probably one that you've heard before. It's one that a lot of people kind of talk about as the only trust trigger. And I really don't feel that way at all. To me, I put it third for a reason. To me, this trust trigger comes before having my ideal customer, having this person know that I get them very deeply and that I care about them wholeheartedly. Then number three is that I've got them. Now, the third trust trigger is I've got them, which means I'm the expert. It means I know what I'm doing. I have done this before. This is where testimonials are really powerful. This is where experience and credentials and accreditations and everything that shows that you're the expert. This is that layer of authority. So your brand video has to have that layer, that sort of through line, that indication that you know what you're doing, that you're the expert, to solidify and to give you that credibility that comes from being an expert. But your brand video is not just about you being the expert. So the trust that you're building with your brand story relies or kind of leans a little bit into your expertise. But first and foremost, it relies and leans into you being a person that people trust because they like them and because you get them and what's in it for them, right? You get them, you care about them. It's about them first. And then thirdly, it's about you as the expert. So that's the third trust trigger, is that you have got them because you're the expert. And then last and finally, the fourth trust trigger is that you vibe. That means that your personality, your values, the way that you approach your business, your drive, the way that you show up, the way that you talk, all of these things that really play into your likability. And more importantly, that you would actually be a good match, that you'd be a good fit from a personality perspective. So this is not to be ignored. This is incredibly important because this is something that really differentiates you from everyone else in the marketplace. When you are able to define and really own not just what makes you unique, it's not about what makes you different and unique. It's about what specifically your ideal client loves about you. We all think that it's all about why we're so different from everybody else, what makes us awesome, what makes us unique. That's all great. However, way more powerful than that is understanding the specific things that our audience loves about us and that they look for in us and why they chose to work with us specifically to get to the results that we promise. So it's not just about what you think makes you different. It's about what they like about you that makes you different when they chose to work with you, that made you somebody that they actually wanted to work with to get to the results that you promise. So that fourth trust trigger is all about what makes you unique in their eyes. And if you are able to tell your brand story in a way that hits those four trust triggers, then you have made it. Then you will have touched your ideal audience emotionally. You would have made them feel something. You will have made them feel like they can actually pay attention to you. They will actually engage with you more. They will be on the lookout for your emails. When your email comes, they will open it. They will consume your content because you have built trust and you are primed. You have primed them to buy from you. We know that people buy because you've built know, like, then trust. And so the more that you can accelerate those trust triggers, the more you can get people to actually be ready to buy from you even before you have made an offer to them. So I hope that this encourages you to think about how you are building that relationship top of funnel. So the moment that people check you out, when they first discovered you, which I call the instant trust check, the instant trust test, is when they are checking you out in their own time, in their own space, in their own effort. They're spending their own effort and their own time to answer the question, who are you? And do I want to pay attention to you? Right? So in that moment is when we need to use our brand story. Ideally, it's packaged in a brand video to connect with them so that people will trust us from the get-go because we've pulled the four trust triggers, which are we have made them feel that I get them, I care about them, I've got them, I'm the expert, and they're in good hands. And fourth thing, we vibe. We are going to get along just great because of our personalities, because of our values, because there's alignment there. So I hope that you can take away from this episode this idea that you need to be pulling the four trust triggers at the top of your funnel so that you can make the most impact for people as they continue on the journey with you. And that now, instead of fighting the noise of everyone else's content, everyone else's noise around you, they are now finally tuned to you because you have built trust with them at the top of your funnel. All right, everyone. I hope that you will take this away and run with it with your brand story. Be on the lookout. In a couple of weeks, I am going to be hosting a new masterclass. It's going to be similar to Undeniable, but with a lot of new things in it, all about accelerating trust with cold audiences so that you can sell faster. And so be on the lookout for that. I would love to see you there. And I will see you in the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.